Welcome to the Joypad Podcast, everyone. We have been discussing the seminal classic Dude, Where's My Car? And Zoltan.
They did find the
Zoltan,
car, right?
yeah, Zoltan was
Yeah.
also the name of the machine in Big, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, those things are real. Like there's the Zoltan the fortune teller thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
that
are real.
that made Tom Hanks big. Well, I don't think that's how I would actually describe
M-
it.
Maybe it's Zoltar.
Zoltar, Zoltan, I don't know.
I
Anyways,
would Google
this is a
shit.
podcast about video games normally, but we're stuck on Zoltan, Zoltar, and Reptar, and
It is indeed Zoltar. The
oh,
Zoltars are
okay.
real.
Well, let's just go
Zoltan.
play the Rugrats theme on a giant piano you could step on.
Sounds like fun.
I'm
FAO
Mr.
Schwartz.
Michael Pinto. I'm joined, as our YouTube viewers can see, by Tom and Mr. Michael Fleming. Megan is still MIA because she's doing adult things like, getting ready to get married and having COVID and all that nonsense. So, we miss her. She'll be back eventually, I think. I hope. But
One day.
one day, the group will be back together again, and then we'll play Sons of the Forest, which I'm really looking forward to.
They'll have all the bugs fixed by the time we play it. It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
there was another patch today. Good for them. Good for them constantly patching the game, fixing it, making it better. I am
Good work.
drinking water and iced tea. I am not a healthy boy like everyone else. I like my tea sweetened. Sorry. But it's only 3/4 of a cup of sugar in the entire gallon, so it's not like it's that much
Okay.
sugar.
I thought you were gonna say in the cup.
Yeah,
I
in
was
this
like,
in this
no.
like 12-ounce glass, there's 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I'm like,
God.
what's his name in Men in Black, the bug, who just wants sugar water. Well, this is
Oh
a
yeah.
this
Oh
is a
yeah,
movie podcast today, guys.
that's fine.
It's not.
We're
It's not
we're
really.
multifaceted.
I don't watch a lot of movies, but everyone's seen Men in
Have,
Black.
have you ever had Bojangles sweet tea?
Yeah, man, they make it hard now.
Yeah, I heard that. Like, listen, Bojangles sweet tea has enough of an edge with the 3/4 of a cup of sugar that they put in each glass, but hard Bojangles sweet
That's
tea.
that's any sweet tea though, man. Like sweet tea is basically just sugar water
Oh,
with like
I know.
a drop of brown food coloring in it.
Listen, I used to drink my coffee with like 7+ sugars in it. Now I don't. Okay, now I drink it with 0. But like the thought, like I remember having like Chick-fil-A sweet tea recently and just being like, oh my God.
It's painful. Like it's almost
Yeah,
painful to drink.
like you feel the cavities forming in your mouth. Why you done this to me, Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. I don't eat at Chick-fil-A. Anyways,
I haven't in a long time.
my local fried chicken of choice is Popeyes, but if we had a Bojangles, I'd be all over that.
Popeyes Bojangles are the shit.
That's right. And I'm also drinking water. I think I said that, but I have not really been drinking enough water, so I need to try and remedy that. I have been playing video games, but I'm the host, so we'll circle back around to me and what I've been playing after we speak to first Mr. Michael Fleming. What are you drinking?
Hey.
How are you doing? It's been a little while since we spoke. It's been a little while since we recorded. Man, I had like a cool idiom for like parting the kimono because I don't like using that one. I think it
hmm
was like bisecting the burrito, but I don't really remember. Anyways, Fleming, what you been playing?
I have been very busy with work, so I don't know how much I really played aside from Raft. Yeah, I think that's it. So I think the last time we talked, I may have been having computer issues still.
I
I
you
Yeah.
can't
had
remember.
you had just solved them, I think, actually by upgrading to Windows 11.
Maybe that's it. I'm not sure, but
You had
yeah,
just ordered new RAM.
okay. You guys remember better than me. I knew the issues, and yeah, I ordered new RAM. I do have a conclusion aside from the fact that it was fixed with the different RAM and with upgrading to Windows 11. Um, Amazon is really stupid. So I ordered the new RAM from there, and it was on a sale which actually brought it to the same price as the stuff that I bought like a couple weeks prior to build the machine. So great, I got the RAM that I actually wanted for a cheaper price. Well, I had put it on my wish list in Amazon, which if you do, you get notified if the price drops. Well, the price has gone down by another like 15, 20 bucks. And I'm like in a week after the week after I ordered it, it was down another, 20 bucks. And I'm like, Amazon, like, this is ridiculous. Like, I just got this. Can you price adjust it down a little bit? And I kind of thought it might not work, but it was so like, it was a couple days since I had received the product or ordered the product. I thought maybe, but no, their best decision was for me to have to order it again. So this is the third set of RAM I ordered just to return the order so that I could then get, like I could keep the second final order of RAM from Amazon to save the 20 bucks. It's just like, I kind of, on the one hand, I get it because like you could have people that are sitting there monitoring the price all the time and, could potentially see, but like with it being within a week of each other, like the fact that I had to order it again just to do this and like charge, like cost them that shipping costs and stuff, it just was good. So at least they did that. And Newegg, which is where I first bought the RAM, did accept the return after opening the original stuff that wasn't working. So that was good, but it just was a really weird process. That's why I've always liked buying stuff in person and returning in person and all that. Because it's just, I feel like stores make it a little bit easier. Like if I bet if that was Micro Center and I like walked into the store and I told them what had happened,
and you were like, "Yo, Bill, hook me up, Bill."
Yeah, Bill.
Bill. Non-electronics related, but I recently had to get glasses, and I ordered online through Warby Parker, and one pair they sent me was too small. So we had a local Warby Parker store, and I was able to drive to that and return the glasses there. So much easier than whatever hassle it would have been to try and like ship them back to a manufacturer. It's tremendously convenient to get things shipped to you. It's tremendously inconvenient trying to ship them back.
Yeah, I think I've read that a lot of people that buy stuff off Amazon just hate the return process so much that they don't end up returning it, which I find crazy if it's expensive enough. But anyway, my issues are solved. I have not had crashes. I'm just waiting for it to crash now. But I've not had crashes. Everything's been pretty well and good over here on the computer end.
How do you feel about Windows 11?
Great. I don't mind it. It feels very similar. There's a couple things that they've added that are okay. Like if you try to like move a browser over, it like wants to auto pull down. Do you want to make it a small little like section with another window? I'm like, no, just make it full screen on that window. So like you could turn that stuff off, and I haven't done some of those. My bigger problem is certain software has not played well. So I did load Age of Empires to make sure everything was working. I didn't really play much, but I cannot find a way to make it full screen windowed and like keep my mouse inside of it. Like it keeps just falling off to like my second monitor, if that makes sense. I don't know how to change that. It won't work with the settings, so that's a little weird, and that might just be my misunderstanding because I didn't spend that much time with it. And then there's a software called DPP, or Digital Photo Professional. Yes, Tom can giggle by the name.
Penetration penis.
Well, no, it's Canon's Digital Photo Professional, which is out for Windows 10. It's not out for Windows 11. It doesn't work, and they haven't updated it. So
can you run it in compatibility mode, or does it just straight up not work?
Can't even do it. And then I don't know why, but the final one would be Microsoft or NVIDIA is having some problems updating the driver. I don't know what that is because they are compatible with Windows 11, but I, for some reason, cannot like download and install the driver. And I tried to do it from the NVIDIA site. I tried to do it from other sites that people said to use as well. That did not work. So I'm kind of like in this weird stuck spot with that. So I have to figure that out too. And these are all things that have been like on my mind. But anyway, computer stuff aside, with Windows, life's been incredibly busy for me with work and some other stuff the past 2 weeks. So I've played some Raft, which has been running great, and I love it. But I've been playing Raft on my own again, mostly because I can do some other things while doing Raft. Because I usually just turn it on, I let my way too many collection nets collect everything for 15 minutes. I come back and eat all the bananas because I have like 5 million bananas on board my ship. So it is truly a banana boat. And yeah, then I just pick everything up, add on another row to my fifth deck because I have 5 decks on my ship. And I can't wait for you guys to see it because I'm working my way through it. It's a lot of fun. And
Madness.
just keep building. And also, I have not had FPS drops at all with the update of my computer. I'm still sitting at 60 FPS solid the whole time. So I know I'm going to be able to keep running it because at this point, my FPS will be dropping on my other machine before the build up. So I'm excited. You guys have to see it. Actually, I'll send you a screenshot. I'll send you one of the screenshots of like the bow of the ship. And you guys will be like, you play too much Raft. That's all I'll say. Anyway.
Probably. It's okay.
Enough about me. Tom, how you doing? What you drinking? What you playing? Oh, I'm not even drinking anything, actually. I totally forgot to grab anything. So
Beverage boy.
yeah, beverage boy is no beverage boy right now. I think my wife just came home. Maybe she'll bring me a beverage.
My wife.
But yeah, anyway, Tom, how you doing? Drinking, playing, gaming, stuff like that.
I just polished off a lime LaCroix. And I'm drinking just a good old-fashioned glass of water. I was actually just telling my wife, that we have had a shortage of my favorite orange LaCroix at the nearby grocery store. Like every time I go there, there's none there. So I actually ordered off of Amazon a case of LaCroix, but they send them in packs of 10. So someone is going to drop off a crate of 10 cases of LaCroix at my house within the next day or two. And like I will definitely drink it. Like that's fine. Like it works fine for me. I go through that shit like nothing. So it's great, but I still think it's just very funny. I've been doing actually great. I will say I am just not a late night boy anymore. I am falling asleep very early these days, which is very unlike me. I actually am falling asleep before my wife, who has traditionally gone to bed very early. However, she has started gaming and playing a game which has kind of like gotten her hyped up. So she's playing Genshin Impact, which is a game I know that has taken a lot of people by storm over the past couple of years. So she is the latest, and then she's probably down in the basement playing that right now. But as a part of that, that actually kind of got me to overhaul a little bit. So because she's down there, her gaming computer's down there. I have another gaming computer just sitting there right now. So I got my stuff together and got a desk for that space, put it together, and now we'll kind of have our little like couples gaming space, which is something we've had before in previous houses. So we'll have that again now, which will be nice. And along with that, I have also ordered some new monitors. When we went to Micro Center as a group, I was interested in getting some monitors. Just today, there were some monitors that went on sale for over 50% off. And I thought they looked pretty nice, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on those. And that will let me kind of replace what I have here and then take the ones that I have here down there and use them down there. So I feel pretty good about all that. I get most of my excitement out of the hardware stuff these days because on the gaming side, it's mostly been Stardew Valley here and there. But I'm at that point where I'm in like year 3 of Stardew Valley, and it's like, kind of talk to everybody and already have $2 million. I sure am still in the game, you know? So, you know, you kind of log in, check on your stuff, and you do a day, and then you're like, I think I'm done with Stardew Valley right now. Hop off. So, but it's good. Like, I don't know. I probably do that at least once a day and gives me that I gamed today check mark. Granted, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I did play a new game and that game is called Ember Knights. I was telling Pinto about it a little bit before we started the call, and I believe that is a Gaming Daddy gaming game from probably pretty good amount of time ago. But basically you play as these little flames that are kind of called to be guardians of this space that's been attacked by a guy. It goes up to 4-player. It's a roguelike. You get different weapons and spells and stuff as you go. You always start over at the first kind of dungeon after you die, but you'll get additional power-ups as you go that makes it easier on the first space. And obviously you learn more about enemy patterns and what works and what doesn't as you go, but you get different power-ups, which makes it a kind of a different experience each time. So I actually had a lot of fun with it, but it's also definitely stressful. It's one of those games where you have to really know how to dodge things, because every hit you take does a pretty substantial amount of damage, and you may not get to heal again until like 2 rooms from now or more. So yeah, it was fun. I would play it again. Again, I like what it is, and I like the fact that it's 4-player as well. So if you want to kind of share that experience, you absolutely can, which is nice. And I was telling Pinto too, we've talked about this game on the podcast before, but Wanted Raccoon was recently played by the Game Grumps. So I will be following their progress closely, because I have Wanted Raccoon, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I think the concept caught me more than the actual want to play the game, but I think most, if not all of us, have that one.
I need to interrupt you for a second just to say, Fleming, you play too much Raft.
Did he send a picture?
Yes,
I did send a picture, and I sent it over our chat, not in Skype, so no one here would have on the
I'm gonna
podcast.
look at it so I can judge you.
But that
Oh,
is
shit.
the Bow of my Raft. That's before the crow's nest was actually installed too, because you would be able to see it in the shot. But
That does not look.
it's a weird angle. And
It just doesn't look like it should boat. Like it looks like a board cube.
It's well, so I'll put us on a quick small tangent topic of certain games and how you build can be really weird, and you have to work with the mechanics of a game.
The forest cough.
The forest is another one, yes. So in the case of Raft, the only way to make a bow is with those like single 90-degree kind of, cut-ins to make it. So it's a perfect triangle, which looks really weird. But when you're on the ship, you can't tell. And I'm the picture's from a weird angle, and it doesn't help that I haven't built the bridge yet. So because of that, I have the steering wheel right at the front. So the little pipe is just like sticking out the front. And if you haven't noticed, yes, there's at least 2 steering wheels that will be on, because I have 2 steering wheels right now. I'm going to put it on the back of the ship. So
You drive from any
I
angle.
play a lot of I do play a lot of Raft. I have like 400 hours or something. Let me check. Oh, not too bad. 223. Sorry, that was a return to Raft for me, and by sending that to you guys.
As long as you're having fun with it, I'm happy for you. Honestly,
It's a good game, man. It is a good game. I actually have not even beaten the game yet. I never actually went to the last place. But I'm sure we'll play together soon. So
Probably
anyway,
tonight.
Pinto.
Yes.
What game you play? How feel you do?
What game
drink
I
you
play?
have?
How feel I do? Drink discussed. We did. The iced tea is gone. I'm on water now. I have mostly just been playing the Resident Evil 4 remake. I've been having a great time with it because I love the original game, and I was about to go off on a tangent already. Basically, I just don't read game reviews because they ruin everything for me, and it doesn't affect my life if I disagree with them, but it affects my life if I disagree with them. Anyways, it's really good. It's smooth to play. Once I got the hang of it, things like they kind of got rid of QuickTime events, which I think are quickly becoming a thing of the past in most video games. But there are elements of timing, like you can block enemy attacks using your knife, which is just really satisfying to do. because it staggers your enemies, and then you can kick them or shank them or shoot them or what have you. The escort aspect of it is still irritating, but it is, a core mechanic of the game because you're escorting the president's daughter back to safety. The things they've changed in the story, I have no issue with. So far, I think I'm about halfway through the game if I'm going through the original, and I spoke to Tom about this. I've restarted the game several times. I started off on hardcore difficulty. I think I discussed that last time we recorded. But basically, the game itself says, if you've played the OG Resident Evil 4, play on hardcore. And I was like, yeah, totally. I played the OG the same day I started playing the remake. And
you trusted them.
I did. And, I like to think
fool.
I'm pretty good at video games. And, I was having fun with it until it got to a point where I just didn't have enough resources to do anything. There's a part of the game that's like an extended siege where you're in a cabin and a bunch of enemies pour in and you gotta hold them off for a certain amount of time or until you kill a certain amount of enemies, one or the other. And I didn't have anything. I had no ammo, my knife was broken, and you can't be a Punchman and punch enemies, so it's just like, well, bummer. Guess I gotta play better or play smarter. And I don't know. So I switched back down to standard difficulty, and I was like, this is cool, but it's a little too easy. Maybe now with the practice I've had, I can go back to hardcore. So I restarted again and went back to hardcore because you can't switch between the two in the middle of the game. And I got back to the same point, and I was like, this is just bullshit, man. Like, I started getting frustrated. I got the angry gamer moment. This is bullshit. I don't want to do this. So I went back to standard difficulty, and I've just been sticking with that. But it's really a fun game. I see you thinking.
It puzzles me sometimes with some of those difficulties because it feels like there should be a middle path. Right?
I agree. Yeah.
And I feel like that should be at least somewhat customizable because really what you're saying is you're enjoying the gameplay of the hardcore path, but you just you're not getting enough supplies. Right? So almost like a slider in like some other games, it feels like you should be able to just bump up the like, hey, I want to play it this way, but give me 10% more supplies, 20%
a touch more ammo, just a touch. Yeah, and I know the standard response to any of this would be, of course, get good scrub, etc. But like,
can we just say we don't live by get good scrub on this podcast? Like, unless you're Fleming playing an RTS.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
There's in a competitive game, you have to play that way, but outside of that, no.
And that's why I don't play competitive games anymore.
Outside of that, play however you want to play. I'm not going to judge you. I'm playing the raft game. I was playing the first time I started building like a super raft. I played on hard, and I was like, "Why am I playing on hard?"
Yeah, play on creative or peaceful.
Well, so I don't play on creative because you can't visit islands. You just float in the middle of the open ocean. Yeah, okay, it's stupid. So that's why I'm playing the actual game. I also wanted to play through the final chapter. That's when I started it. But I was playing on hard. And in regards to the whole get good scrub, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not competing against anybody. My food goes down faster. I take more damage every time I'm hit by a rock. If I die, I have to lose all my inventory to start back. Or I have to have someone log in to save me. No, just not worth it. So in that case, I don't see a reason. In something like Age of Empires, I'd argue the get good scrub is the whole point of playing the game for me. But that's just my perspective.
Yeah. And for me, I'd argue that I don't play that game.
Valid.
Although we did talk about Rocket League recently, and I think both. It up? Yeah, I think both Fleming and I had a twinkle in our eyes of like, Rocket League.
I miss it, dude. We used to play that a lot. Like we played that for like weeks, like every night, basically.
I'd be willing to pick it back up again. I just think my problem is like it's not that you guys are like a lot better than me at it. You are better than me at it, definitely. But I don't know. I feel like once it starts getting too competitive, I start getting frustrated. But that's again, that's how I am with any any game.
I started having more fun with it a while ago by just not playing ranked matches anymore. Because when you play casual, you just get everybody, and a lot of the time they're like not amazing. So you get a mix of those people who are amazing and a mix of people who are just driving backwards into their own goal, which is fine. Like, it kind of averages out, and you don't end up playing like the edge of your competition, which is supposed to kind of bring you up to that next competitive level by, making you face adversity, which, hey, makes sense. But guess what? I don't necessarily want to level up my capabilities. I just want to fucking drive rocket soccer cars, have fun.
Yeah,
Right?
I kind of wish that War Thunder had a casual mode, because damn, I always have a lot of fun with War Thunder until it starts getting it hits like a plateau where we're good at the game and that's fine, and we're up against people who are probably the same level that we are skill wise, but they just have like fucking jet fighters, and
Because they
we're
paid for shit.
yeah
Yeah,
and-
that's different though, because they were able to pay for every single plane and all that. So.
yeah,
There's-
but that should again fall under the matchmaking rules where it's like, hey, your skill level is equal, but we see that this person has paid for the B-52. That's a band, not a jet fighter, but just even it out. That's all I'm asking, man.
Yeah, there's a level to be said of like what planes and upgrades you have unlocked, and I feel like they don't factor that into their matchmaking
Exactly.
system, which is annoying. There's also a lot of modes in War Thunder that we've never played.
Yeah, I think you can do like ship warfare now. I think you can do tanks as well.
I've played ship before. The ship is okay.
I was gonna say, is it boring as fuck? Because it kind of seems a little bit boring as fuck.
It's just a little weird. Like, I never got to the biggest of ships. I think I got to like the destroyer, which is like the fifth biggest ship, and it's okay. But like, you also are really slow, and like in the plane version, it's like, oh, if you fly better than somebody else, you'll potentially beat them, even if you're at a disadvantage. Whereas in ships, it's like, oh, a torpedo boat got really close to your battleship and launched its torpedoes in a suicide run, you are dead. You are going to sink. Your ship's going to have a massive hole in it and you'll start to capsize. So it wasn't the best, but it was okay. I just don't think it was very fun. And that was actually what I heard a lot of people were saying. It just wasn't very fun.
And we play games for fun, damn it.
Yeah, that's why we're Joypad.
That's how I live. That's how I live my life.
Yeah. And I just looked at Steam to be like, what else have I been playing? And the answer is nothing. I've been playing Resident Evil 4, and that's it. Oh, no, that's not true. I've also been, I went back to Legend of Legaia because I was like halfway through a screenshot LP when I interrupted it so I could play something else, Chrono Cross, I think. And then also the original Resident Evil 4. And boys, we've spoken about this before, how we love our RPGs, but God, that may be the slowest fucking game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Like, I
get that.
I've started rewatching Hell's Kitchen, because when we convened last, we spoke about the legendary Ben Walanka from Season 5 and his immortal line, "You couldn't cook my cock."
Say it right.
You couldn't cook my cock! So
we go.
I'm almost on Season 5, so I'm really looking forward to getting to that moment organically. But again, that's the thing. I'm almost on Season 5. I've watched 4 seasons of Hell's Kitchen, and Legend of Legaia, I barely advanced at all. It's so slow. It is the slowest RPG I've ever played.
The battles are slow. That's the issue. They
Yeah.
take forever.
The animations, just, oh god, everything just chug-a-lugs. And it's got nothing to do with like my build. I have a brand new computer. If I were playing it on a regular PlayStation, it would be worse probably. It's just everything just takes forever.
Are you like using anything to speed it up during combat?
I was wondering if that's a possibility. I don't want to. I mean, I'm playing this game completely legally using a PlayStation disc, and I am not using an emulator because those are illegal, and I would never do such a thing.
Who
But
would?
if I could speed it up, God, that'd be great. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not playing on an emulator because who would, but I think there are some out there that do have like speed up settings. I know ZSNES used to have one where you could play, um, you could either just fast forward or you could literally set it to always be at like 1.5x speed, stuff like that.
That'd be pretty dope. Cause like I've also been thinking about replaying Legend of Dragoon, and again, like I'm coming to the same thought where like that game just it's just gonna be slow. And you have to pay attention
Oh,
to the battles because it's all timing with the additions. Volcano.
Burning Rush!
So I don't know. I just, whew, it's a good game and I can appreciate it and I love old RPGs, but ain't nobody got time for that anymore. That's why I like the remakes of like not the remakes, but the ports of your later Final Fantasies that they put on the Switch and Steam. They have a speed up function where it's like you
Yeah.
can play the game 3 times as fast. Like
Well,
that's awesome.
that's what I was just about to say. Is Legend of Dragoon would greatly benefit from something like that. A lot of those more classic RPGs would benefit from anything that kind of just speeds things along a little bit more, which is fine.
Do you think though that it's the game or our age at this point? Because like
Age.
I remember, yeah, I remember Legend of Gaia when I was a kid, and I was like, "This game's amazing! Look at these battles and
I
stuff like that." Like, it was really cool compared to how in a lot of the Final Fantasy games of roughly the same time, it was like slash, and that was your attack motion. So seeing a little bit more in-depth fighting and stuff was kind of cool, but.
I
I personally think it's age.
I think it no, I still think it's cool. The problem is the novelty wears off fast.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's true.
cool the first couple times and when you're like discovering all the different arts and things like that, which, back in 1996 or 97 whenever that game came out,
Yeah.
GameFAQs wasn't a thing. Like you were just randomly putting in combinations to see if you could come up with an art. Now, the first thing you do when you play that game is pull up an arts FAQ, and you're like, "Here's the entire list." Don't so there's no sense of like
Won't get 'em.
exploration to it anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah, and I guess that's what like a lot of save and splits is in like Final Fantasy VI are too. Like if you know what Bum Rush is, you know what Bum Rush is. And you
Yeah,
just
and
do
why
it.
would you use anything other than Bum Rush?
Because I don't know. Because it's really hard to get them damn D-pad sticks in the right direction.
Just for variation.
I think
Um,
yeah, that was a really interesting idea and really powerful if you hit it, but it was also
Yeah.
really like it
it's
was
easy to
not
fuck up.
it was easy to mess up
Yeah,
and make
let's
it not
put
execute
fighting
well.
game mechanics into our RPG,
Yeah.
and that's how the bouncer was born.
I still like it. I still like the bouncer.
Oh, I do too.
But I think to the question of, mechanics being slow, games being slow, and us being old plays into it. But if you go back and play like Pokemon Blue, like the original Pokemon games, they are so slow
They're very
compared to
slow.
like how things are today. And it's just honestly, it's a matter of quality of life in those kinds of games, to bring them into the modern age, and improve upon that. And I don't know how much of that was like game and system processing speed back then as opposed to now, but clearly the problem has been solved on the game side. And when you go through a remake or remaster process with those kinds of things, it makes it a better game, by getting rid of that issue. So it goes both ways. I personally, I think for me, a lot of my patience has also just died, because like Fleming said earlier, he's busy. A lot of our day is taken up with work now that we're working 30-something adults. And, you only have so much time to game. And when that's the case, you're like, man, hurry up. I want to get through this game. I want to have fun. I want to maximize my FPM. Let's get the show on the road.
I also think if you've played the game before, certain things can be the most frustrating things. So like I played through Uncharted 4 like 3 times since I got it because I really like the game and it's a lot of
It's a good
fun to
game.
actually go through the game. But the puzzles in it sometimes are just like so frustrating because you're just like, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to figure this out again. Like
That's
the
what the internet's for.
well, like certain things you still have to be careful, like the trap floor at towards the end of the game in like Avery's caves. Like you have to be super careful you don't step on the wrong one or you die. It's basically how it works. And that can just get really like, that's an annoying puzzle because you have to keep going back into the journal to look at where you are and figure it out again. So like that's game facts or something like tell me how to do this walk or
Teach me how to donkey.
Well,
or
and
on my third one, I was like, oh, I know exactly what it is because I just played it, a couple weeks ago, and I'm playing it
Yeah.
again. So
well, and that's a nice thing. Like that's a good space for a new game plus to just say like, hey, you already beat this puzzle, just skip the puzzle and keep going.
that would be
But
nice.
Uncharted is one of those games where I don't know how much they expect you to replay, right? Because it's a very
Yeah.
cinematic game. And granted, I'm glad you're replaying it. I think it's a great game, but I think that they probably didn't put a lot of foresight into that part when it would have been good to do that.
Well, and also the first time I did the puzzles, it was a lot of fun. But as soon as
yeah,
I've done
for sure.
it one time, it's like I don't want to do this again. Or Pinto, the Chrono Trigger Factory stuff with the crane.
Oh, it's it's so tedious.
It's tedious, and like as a 30-something adult, it's like I know how to do this. I've done it a million times because I've played the game.
I know the
through
code. Let me
tons of
just
times.
put it in.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
XABY. It's Zaby. Come on,
Yep.
let me
Hey.
through.
Yep.
Whenever I play Super Mario RPG and I go into that ship, I know that fucking code
Oh,
is
pearls?
pearls. I
Yeah,
am putting
yep.
pearls in.
But at least they do a thing in Super Mario RPG where if you solve the puzzles, you get a reward. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
true.
Where
Yep.
like you get that royal syrup, and you're like, hell yeah, love royal
Well,
syrup.
Nice.
I prefer that my syrup be addressed as His or Her
Yeah.
Majesty.
So I know for me, puzzles in games, if there's not a skip option, can get really frustrating. But I do like the idea of the whole new game plus. Like you've already done this puzzle, so you could just like
Yeah.
press start and go in and be like skip puzzle or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
I actually liked, not that I've done this, but the options in The Last of Us 2 after you beat it. There are like New Game Plus options where you can have like unlimited ammo or unlimited like crafting
What kind of
materials,
monster
stuff like that.
played that game again?
Someone did. That's all I'm saying.
Megan has messaged me so many times since that game came out, being like, "I think I'm ready to play The Last of Us 2 again," and I'm like, "Are you ready to get hurt?" And she's like, "No."
No. I mean, there's a lot of pain in that game.
Yeah.
But it's also really fucking good.
It's really
And
fucking good, but
I gotta admit, the combat in that game is freaking stellar. Like, I would love to play a game in that engine that had more of a replayability factor.
yeah.
Just because I don't want to go around having to shank dogs. I mean,
Right.
that's,
I don't know if it's your jam, but I gotta tell you, the combat in Resident Evil 4 feels real nice. I like it a lot. And I know it's not quite the same, same vibe, but
who should play that?
Who's that?
My wife.
You know what? You should probably like it.
She was actually just telling me about how she was playing Resident Evil 4 when she had her surgery a long time ago. So yeah, she would definitely play that.
I would suggest it. I think it's very nice.
We will probably benefit from the sticker price decrease because our next game is definitely going to be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's what it's called.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many dicks are you going to build?
I have no need to make the dicks. The internet has already made the dicks.
I mean, look, if Spore is anything to go by.
I don't think I ever made that many dicks in Spore. The
You
internet
didn't make
definitely
dick
did, though.
monsters?
I don't think so. Listen, I actually looked at Spore like, oh, this is cool. Like, I can make my own creature creation. I'm having so much fun with this. This is really neat. I was taken and charmed by that game, which I will remind you both. I got Alex to buy. Then he did not play it. And then I got him to make me a copy, and I played Spore.
Again, my experience with Spore is I never got past the tribal stage. I don't think.
The first two stages are the best.
Yeah.
And then when you get to like the galaxy exploration stage, it would crash all the time.
You know what? That game came out 15 years ago, and I bet it still does the same thing now.
I tried it again around 2013, 2014, and it still crashed.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I have it on Steam. I've been tempted a couple times recently to give it another go.
Will Wright, get your shit together. Fix your 2008 game.
How have they not made a sequel to that game?
I don't know.
I feel like it did like gangbusters when it came out. Like it was such a different and like cool game.
Dude, they should make a multiplayer Spore.
Well,
that'd be awesome.
Have you heard of Ecosystem? I think you played that, Tom, didn't you?
I don't recall.
Ecosystem is a game, you can look it up on Steam, it's not that expensive, where you basically start with like an open world that has nothing, like underwater, and then you add in plants, and then you get more life points, it's called, and then you can add in a creature, and then the creatures will evolve into new creatures, and you'll see like different types of creatures get created. And I've never gotten to the point of like really enjoying the game because it's a little slow. At least I never quite got there, if you will, on how to play it. And I think it was in beta when I played it, but
it's still
that does a lot of that like whole, creature creation, and then you can say how many of a certain species you want on your map, and then you can see how those species evolve to fight back against other species that eat them and stuff. It's really cool. I just haven't gotten enough playing time to understand how to make really awesome big creatures.
It looks very pretty. It seems very Spore I think focuses more on the creature. This seems like it almost focuses more on the environment and like how everything else evolves. So it's cool. I mean, I love those kind of ideas. I like watching things kind of like evolve and progress because I don't know. I guess Pokemon takes that look too, but like it's different, right? Where you're actually kind of like setting the seeds of nature and seeing what happens over time. Whereas I think Spore is kind of like setting the seeds of a creature and then growing that creature over time and then seeing what penis monsters the game throws at you on the other side for you to eventually have to fight, beat, or cooperate with.
The early stages of Spore are, I mean, I guess you could be an herbivore, but it's like, let me exterminate other species, make them extinct, steal their body parts, and be like, who wants to come fuck this? And then use their body parts and rinse and repeat.
And it's awesome.
I mean, the if you're an herbivore, I guess you can do the thing where you like sing and dance.
Yeah,
but, like
I've done that before.
Was it satisfying?
Yeah, you make friends with the other ones, and you can still put like defensive pieces on your creature. So like when the aggressive creatures start coming for you, you just like team up with the other ones that like you make friends with, and then like you go out as a pack and take down the aggressive predators.
So it turns into gang warfare.
Yeah.
It turns into Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah,
I'm gonna name my next character CJ.
Yeah, after you finish that part of the game, then it turns into StarCraft. I don't know if you remember that.
I never got that far.
Yeah, if you get past the creature stage, it turned into an RTS, and you had to go build villages, and like advance your technologies and go fight other villages and gain territory and resources and stuff.
Yeah, I think the main criticism of that game, what it boils down to, is it was a little too big for its britches and tried to do too much. It was like 4 separate games in one.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was. It was like 4 or 5 games in one. And the ending is very like open-ended. Like the portion where you're exploring space and you run into other civilizations and stuff and you terraform worlds, you can do that part for hours on hours on hours. That's why it would crash.
So it's like Creature Creator.
Yep.
StarCraft.
Yep.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Kind of,
Oh,
but
Destiny. Maybe
because
Destiny.
No Man's Sky sucks.
Dude, if Megan were here, she'd argue with you. I don't know enough
I
about
don't
what
either.
they've done to it, but
I
initially it sucked. Now
yeah,
apparently it sucks less.
people say they like it now. All I know is I've never seen anyone actually playing it or telling me why it doesn't suck anymore.
Maybe I'll have to. I have it. It's right here. It's right next to me. Here, Megan bought it for me because I think she wanted to prove to me that it doesn't suck.
No Skies, man.
No Man's Sky. I'm holding it for our YouTube viewers in front of my face.
Ooh.
Maybe I was like, maybe I'll throw it in the old PS4 one of these days, boot it up, and see what happens. And it's gonna be like, we have to completely rewrite your game because it's a completely different game now. And I'll be like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Let's download 800 gigabytes of game.
Hey man, that's how all games are now.
That's true. I actually look at like Lost Ark on a regular basis because I don't know. Did you guys ever play that at all?
Nope.
It's free to play, but every update that they have takes forever. And it's basically like science fantasy Diablo because they're like characters that have giant space guns or just regular warriors with like swords and shields. And they all like it's set up like Diablo where you have your skills and you go do dungeons and you follow very generic quests. So it has not that much story appeal to it, but it's, kind of online with other people the way that Diablo was as well. So it's very good, but yeah, every patch is like 20 gigs.
Why?
And I've heard it's fairly like pay to win or like pay for cosmetics and stuff. I played it when it was in beta and I enjoyed it, but I don't know. Time sink. I have a hard time with the time sinks anymore.
Yeah, I have to admit, and I think I may have said this to both of you before, but since I got the new machine when I went into Steam, I hovered over that DayZ and I was like, I wonder. I haven't done it yet, but
It's coming back.
But I feel like one of these days I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna try this shit out, man.
I'll have to check, but there was a server I was doing for a while that was pretty good server. It's not Blacklands. Blacklands is gone.
It's gone?
Yeah. They have a Namalsk server, but they don't have a Cherno server anymore.
Because I was gonna say, like, that was like the nail in the coffin for our DayZ. That was like our main server. And we're like, you know what? I think it's time to let sleeping dogs lie on this. Our server's going down. I don't want to go through the hassle of finding a new one. And then they didn't take it down.
Yeah.
Yep. For me, it was playing to like I only like to play with you guys. I didn't really like to play alone. So
yeah, it's a lot more fun playing together because I used to play on my own. I mean, Fleming, I think you would actually enjoy one aspect about this server, which is that Northwest Airfield is a PvP zone.
Ooh.
So if anyone is in there, it's all fair game.
Yeah.
Apparently there's very good like treasures around there that you can find, but there's also like when you complete missions you get like colored keys, and then there are like locked boxes in the high value areas that correspond to the keys. So you kind of like do different runs to get high value loot out of some of that stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but Arma is such a like realistic world that like it's not fun unless you have a squad with you.
Oh, agreed.
You need to have 3 to 5 people to really enjoy it. 1 to 2 people can get kind of dull, kind of frustrating, and I just prefer it with other people. But I will tell you, those couple minutes that we've had those awesome firefights and stuff against other players or whatever, they're really fun whenever they happen.
Or doing like the
mission,
the stronghold,
Salvation City, or
that was the best one probably ever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know what? I didn't have fun with Salvation City, but it's because I could never see the guys, and I would just get shot and killed before I did anything.
They had pretty good aim. They usually almost always were hitting within the first bullet or two. So
I forget if it was this server that I had been on most recently, but there was another one, either this one or another one that had AIs.
That's cool.
As well, which is pretty good. So,
my most embarrassing, shameful moment was doing a solo mission on my own. I believe it was during the mod days. I was doing a solo mission where I was trying to go and get gear, and I saw a bunch of people run up, and I spent 5 minutes trying to talk to them using my microphone before I realized they were AI, and I was like, "Ha, oops." Then I killed them, and I continued on my way.
Oh, my bad.
I was like, "Hey guys, I'm friendly. Are you gonna let me go? Hello, anyone? Bueller?" That went on for quite a while before I realized my folly.
That's my one thing with DayZ is I don't really want to talk to anybody, man. I want to talk to you guys, and I want to ignore the rest of the world. So whenever I'm on those servers, I'll end up at one of those base camp areas
Where everyone's hanging out.
Invariably, some dude will be like, "Hey man, what's going on?
Need
You
alcohol.
you trading at the trading post?" Yes, I am. I don't want to talk to you, sir. Goodbye. Or they'll be like, "Can I get a ride?" It's like I don't want to give a random dude a ride. I've been on a PvE server.
I think there is something to be said for being a regular on a server though, where people are chill, where it's you don't have to talk to them, but if you want to, you're not ugh, I have to talk to this person.
Yeah,
it's true. Oh, okay, I've seen this person around, we've interacted before, we're cool. We're not best buds or anything. They're not part of my squad, but you could have a civil conversation with them and not hate every fucking thing about it.
Or you could hate Soviet cheese too. That's fine.
So yes, yeah. Man,
public servers are like Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
That's right. I've never watched Cheers.
I watched a couple episodes on the first season. I was underwhelmed. Take that. I almost said millennials. I which one of am, but boomers and Gen Xers that like Cheers. You take that, not me and my generation. To quote The Who.
Oh boy, yes, The Who, the most representative band of millennials and not boomers and Gen Xers.
You're goddamn right. Windmill your hand around, Pete Townsend.
Playoff, man, what show? SVU? CSI? Which one is it that every time CSI. The guy... Yeah, every CSI time the Miami. Guy puts his fucking sunglasses on... Oh god, have there been any CSI video games? Do you remember that period of time where any licensed television show or movie they were like, let's make a game?
Yeah. I really wonder if there is, because there's all those Charlie's Angels video games and stuff like that. I actually had and enjoyed the Mission Impossible video game for PlayStation 1. I don't know if either of you guys ever played that one.
No.
The big thing in that, and I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, just to put that out there, but the big thing in that was you had a device called the Face Maker. So at a lot of the occasions, you would infiltrate a party, disguise yourself as a waiter or something, and then you would lure an influential person into a room and have to subdue them, and then you would use the Face Maker to make a copy of their face. And then you would wear that and pretend to be that person. You could get access to different places and stuff.
And how did that look on PlayStation 1?
Well, every face you had looked like Meltman from Action League Now. So,
Yeah,
who are you to say you didn't look like that guy?
God, I'm trying to remember. I remember playing the Phantom Menace PlayStation 1 game. Shitty game. I remember playing the Fifth Element PlayStation 1 game. Shitty game.
What a weird game to make a movie to make a game about.
I remember playing the Animorphs video game based off the television show on PlayStation 1, which I had very high hopes for because I was a very big fan of Animorphs.
Same.
Shitty game.
See, that's a game that if you had the IP rights to that and that were a popular book now, that game would ball out. That game would be the shit.
You should... K.A. Applegate. Bring it back. Run it back, K.A. Applegate.
call up somebody at the studio that did like Hogwarts Legacy or something. Be like, "Hi, I am a better writer and less shitty person than J.K. Rowling. Please make a game about my seminal young adult novel series that also features a strong component that would easily lend itself to video games." Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah,
Mic drop.
please. I'd be so into it.
I mean, if you're alive
Yes,
and
I
you have a
am,
beating
and I
heart,
am.
haven't you ever wanted to just be able to change into animals?
But only for a time span of 2 hours, lest you become stuck in that form.
You
Tobias.
Yeah, you become Tobias, the red-tailed hawk, if you do that.
All right, we've
That
devolved.
motherfucker could still talk somehow, couldn't he?
Yeah,
Shit.
and later on he was able to morph again, but the red-tailed hawk was his main form, and he could turn back into a human for 2 hours at a time.
That's weird.
Yes, we've devolved it to Animorphs talk, so I believe it's time to wrap it up.
Listen, Animorphs fucking rule. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, join us next week for our new podcast, the Animorphs Fancast, where we review each book episode by episode. I believe there were 54 books, not including the Megamorphs. So we will have 58 episodes. It will be a 1 year long podcast.
I have a lot of reading to do to support this endeavor.
Yeah, I have to go into my shed and find my Animorphs books. I did not have them all, but I had a lot of them.
A lot of them are probably at my parents' house. I remember there were thicker novel things, and there were pig creatures called like Hork-Bajir or something like that.
And there were giant centipedes called taxons. Tom, we're talking about this next week.
We're wetting the whistle of the listeners.
Visser 3. Anyone?
I remember
Anything?
Visser 3.
All right, cool. Anyways, thanks for listening, everyone. I feel like we covered a lot of ground today. We were kind of all over the place.
It was a smorgasbord.
Yeah, everyone go play Resident Evil 4 Remake. Play Raft. Good game.
Oh,
Yes.
fucking Midnight Suns got Storm dropped like last week. Play Midnight Suns.
Is it Halle
How many
Berry?
times do I have to tell you people? Play Midnight Suns.
If it's not Halle Berry, I don't want to play.
It is a digital representation of a character who is not played by a real actress.
So it's not Halle Berry.
It could be Halle Berry if you want it.
Okay.
Play Midnight Suns.
All right, play Midnight Suns. One of these days I will, and Tom will be super excited. Just like one of these days, Megan and I will play House of Ash.
Yeah, we're already past a year later on that.
Oh, I believe it's been almost 2 years. Play Raft. It's a good game. And just play whatever.
Spore.
Play Spore. Make dick monsters. Play whatever game brings you joy. Even if it's, I don't know, Hello Kitty Online.
Play Joy. Let it bring you game.
Yeah. Please be sure to check out our social medias. Facebook is the most active one because I'm the only one that does anything, and it's on Facebook. Twitter exists. Instagram exists. YouTube exists. There is stuff on YouTube happening beyond the podcast. We have been playing Raft. Boy, just watching us slowly, just devolve into insanity the longer we play, it's a good time. Our raft, this has been a point of contention. Our raft has been christened the SS Johnny Smegs, and if you want to know the story behind that, wash your dick. Tom, please end the podcast.
Wash your dick.
Thank you.
Stay joyful. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.